Hey there, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. I feel bad because on the first Wednesdays of the month here in Austin at Half Price Books, host Tom Woodruff would have community poetry, and it would be going on right now. But it can't be right now because we're in COVID times and everything's closed down, which makes me sad. We would read 10-minute stints and I would read from new Scars Publications book releases. I'd sometimes wear a wig or a funny hat, or so the best I can do is wear a hat and some dark lipstick. That's all I can do for you. And people know I'm from Chicago, and they're like, what is that looks like you've got something that's not Chicago on? My husband is a Steelers fan, and during the time for this open mic normal time should be the third rescheduling of the undefeated Steelers playing the Ravens. And I have no idea how the game's going to turn out, but the Ravens were named after a poem, so that could relate somehow, right? So I figured I'd wear this shirt for you guys. And for the game coming up. But then I would share poetry from a brand new poetry book release from Scars Publications. They do annual book releases. And they did one of flash fiction, and they did one of just poetry. And in pandemic times, it seemed like such a perfect title to have a book called Inside the Box. I have a giant box on the cover, and you can't even see it on this. It says Poetry for Pandemic Times inside this box, but it says, and I got this box once in one of the shipments that said, I brought you this. I hope you like it. Yours truly, Box. That's what it actually says in the box. And so I kept this back around. I'm like, I have to put this on a cover because you can have poetry books all around for this big, massive poetry collection book for 2020 from Scars Publications. It has select ratings from CC&D magazine, which was founded in 1993, and Down the Dirt magazine, which was founded in 2000, though it was a supplement to CC&D in 1994 before it started. But I thought I would read a select few poems that are sprinkled throughout this book, and I hope you like them. It's just a little taste for things, and if anyone's interested in it, get your poetry in pandemic times. It's inside this box right here. This first one is a poem that is titled Xenon and PTSD to Fight That Spiral. This sounds like a periodic table elements poem, doesn't it? I don't know. It's called Xena and PTSD to Fight That Spiral, and it was actually written on the 27th of June, which is Post-Traumatic Stress Disorder Awareness Day. That's why this was written on this day. There you go. Had to give you a little bit of info, too. Hope you like this poem. Here we go. Older generations may say things seem so stellar in the past, and you may seem saddened when you hear the wistful way they talk. And though they fought their own wars, you turn on your TV to see terrorists fly airplanes into collapsing Twin Towers in New York. You see riots in the streets and gunshots on the South Side. And when you take a lunch break, you see on TV the Notre Dame spire now up in smoke, and realize that the bad is burning, but so is the good. Your anxiety, moodiness, depression from too many traumatic things, this positivity on your negativity makes it a self-fulfilling prophecy. I know the world is tough, but the world can be good, too. So, stop searching to wallow in the impossibly bad. You'll discover the good. Please, take that first step, and then see what you can now do. It's hard sometimes. It is. When things are going bad and you have to try to take the most positive attitude. It's tough to do sometimes when everything seems so wrong. When we're trapped and we can't get out of the house. But let's see what we can do. Maybe we can talk about, this next poem here, which talks about nature a bit more. This is a poem that's called Earth Was Alive and Dying, and it's the Earth Day edit, which is April 24th. I had a dream the other night. I walked out of a city to a forest, and there were neatly paved bicycle paths and trash cans every 50 feet, and trash every 10. And then I walked deeper into the forest, managed to get away from the picnic tables and the outhouses that lined the forest edges. The roaring cars gave way to the rustling of tree branches, crackling of fallen leaves under my step. When the wind tunneled through, the wind whistled and sang as it flew past the bark and trees. I walked. I listened to the crack of dead branches under my feet, and I could feel a branch against my shoulder. And I looked up, and I could hear the trees speak to me. And they said, "Thank you for letting the endangered animals live here amongst us. We do think they are so pretty, and it would be a shame to see them go. And thank you for recycling paper because you're just saving us for just a little while longer. We've been on this planet for so long, embedded in the earth. We do have souls, you know. You could hear it in our songs. We cling with our roots. We don't want to let go." And I said, "But I don't do much. I don't do enough." And they said, "We know, but we'll take what we can get." And then I woke up in a sweat. Do you even know why we should save the rainforest? Oh, preserve the delicate balance. Just tear the whole forest down. What difference does it make? Put in some orange groves or concentrated orange juice can be a little cheaper. Did you know that medical researchers have a very, very hard time trying to come up with synthetic cures for diseases on their own? It helps them out if they can first find the substance in nature, and a tree that appears in the rainforest may be the only one of its species, or one like it may be 2 miles away instead of right next to it. I wonder how many cures we've destroyed to plant more orange groves. Serves us right. Everything is linked here. We destroy our animals so that we can be wasteful and violent. We destroy our plants. We destroy our earth. We're even destroying our air. We wreak havoc on the soil and the atmosphere. We dump our wastes into our lakes. We pump aerosol cans and exhaust pipes. And these animals and forests keep calling to me. The oceans, the wind. Because in the wild, you have no power over anyone else. And now that we're civilized, we create our own wild. Maybe when we have all this power, the only choice we have is to destroy ourselves. And so we do. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, these are just a fascinating mix of different poems that I'm enjoying sharing with you guys from this book, Inside the Box. It's a poetry collection book from Scars Publications. And I'm going to share just a few more with you. One, two, three. We'll see. We'll see how many I can come up with for you, but I'll try to share a few poems with you. I hope you enjoy them. This first one is called Xenogeny, and it was written for Lent. That's what it says on it, written for Lent, and this is called Xenogeny. Give me this time, after the richness of our foods and our excess drink, wallowing in our wealth with our gluttonous indulgences, please allow me this time. As days grow longer, I'll need this time to reflect on myself, to contemplate the world, to reach better understanding and connection. Consider this penance for all that I've done, and trust me, I will keep all my strength, and as I sacrifice all during these 40 days and 40 nights to focus on what I truly need and what I truly believe. My soul has been too old to die so young, so this is why I need this time to reflect and realize what more I must do to make the world worth celebrating again. And please, I think you've understood that I am so completely different from those around me and those before me. So let me now have this time so I can piece it all together once and for all. Wait for my return. I believe the reward will be worth the wait. Haha. I'll give you a moment of silence from that one, and then I'm going to go to one that was written on Martin Luther King Jr. Day. This is a poem that's called Our Color, Our Gender, Our Creed. There is a house inside of me. It's a house with a rich heritage, brimming with the knowledge of how our souls have flourished and how it can all be so quickly taken away. There is a house inside of me that has had to shut down to hide everything away because those who didn't look like me decided that I was nothing and treated me accordingly. There is a house inside of me. Its pulse has an infectious rhythm that we've had to stifle to hide from your genetic white bread world. We only let it out when we're alone to save us from your madness. There is a house inside of me. I've hidden it away. I've sealed it up and placed it deep within, brimming with my history and my future. And I don't let it out when people can't think of me as human. There is a house inside of me. I've put boards over the windows to save myself from your storm. With your wrath, I've learned to not fight back, only because my captor won't listen. There is a house inside of me, and this house will stand strong even after you have raped me, beaten me, tortured me, tried to kill me, treated me as nothing. But you were so wrong. There is a house inside of me, and what you don't understand, what you don't realize, is that this house will outlast yours. Trust me. If your house was built on distrust and such blatant disrespect, then your house is bound to collapse. Because after all this time, and after my wanting to fight, I have learned that passive resistance is only a part of my story. Because in these struggles I have gained a wisdom and a connection that is beyond this house inside of me, beyond this sharing, this inquisitive mentality. So I want you to remember, this house is a symbol for all like me, and for those not like me, too. Because I have a dream that everyone who has suffered like this, and even those who have not, should share their stories with all of the world, no matter our color, our gender, our creed. This is my dream, because this is how we truly grow. All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I think I'm looking at what I'm going to see what poems I can share with you from this book. There's 3 poems here and 2 poems here. I might have 5 more poems to share with you in this section, and that will be my closing for whatever I want to call for this installment of community poetry. It's not the open mic, but I'm sharing it with the community right now in a time that the poetry open mic community poetry normally ran. I hope you're enjoying it. This first poem I'm going to share with you is called Fantastic Car Crash. And our life is one big road trip now, and we set the cruise control and make our way down the expressway. And most of the time we're just moving in a straight line and the scenery blurs and there's nothing to see. But I know what's inside of you, and I know what you're made of. And there's no such thing as a calm with you. You are a fantastic car crash. You stop traffic in both directions as the gapers gawk and the delay grows while everyone slows down to stare. Everything shatters with you, you know. It's a spectacular explosion. I duck and cover as metal flies through the air, and every time you leave the scene of the accident, I'm left picking up the shards of the glass from the broken windows. You know, the glass breaks into such tiny little pieces. They look like ice. It takes so long to pick up the pieces, and even though I'm careful, I'm still picking up the pieces, and I'm still on my knees, and the glass cuts into my hands, and the blood drips down to the street. Think of it as my contribution to this fantastic car crash that is you, that is me, that is us, as I pull the glass from my hands and wave my hand to the line of traffic. Go on. Keep driving. This happens all the time. There's nothing to see here. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, the next one for you that I'd like to share is a poem that was written on the 5th of December, and it was the calendar day that the Austrian composer Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart died. He lived from 1756 to 1791. And I have a thing for Mozart, so I've got to share this with you. I totally have a thing for Mozart. I'm crazy that way. This is a short piece called Quiet as a Painting. People throughout history praise a select few, for few possess the genius to bring music to our souls, no matter the year, century. And without them, everyone's existence would be as quiet as a painting. Only one image. There would be no motion. And most importantly, there would be no music. Wow. Sorry. Thinking of a life with no music. Sorry, Mozart. I can't believe I'm saying, Mozart, you rock. I mean, she doesn't rock. He composes. That's very terrible, but what are you going to say? The last three I'm going to share with you are varying completely differently in style. This one is a very serious poem. Brace yourselves. It's called Death Takes Many Forms. It is winter now. The trees have lost their leaves. The city is covered in a thin layer of soot and snow. The grass is dead. In the sunless sky, black birds circle overhead, searching for prey. An eerie cold settles over everything. Nothing is growing anymore. Death takes many forms. For you, death first came when you were 5 years old, and your mother had to give you 3 shots of insulin a day until you could take a needle to yourself. Did it hurt to push that needle into your arm the first time? Or did it hurt you more to know you had no choice? Death takes many forms. Death can be someone telling you without trying that they're losing their sight. Behind Coke bottle glasses, you would see me and say, "That's a nice black suit you're wearing." And I would tell you, "It's green." And you wouldn't believe me. You wouldn't hear the howling wind of the changing seasons. Death takes many forms. I know what follows the autumn wind. It is winter now. Do you remember when it happened? The changes are subtle. The temperature drops, first only slightly. It's almost imperceptible. Only when the first snow falls do you realize where all the seasons have gone. Death takes many forms. Death can be a sweat-soaked shirt, the shakes, dizziness when you needed food. You would look as pale as a ghost as I would hold your cold, wet arm and study you. Quick, some sugar will make everything better. Isn't everything better yet? Death takes many forms. The signs of death can come when you lose your circulation. My feet are numb, Janet. You'd say, I can't feel my feet anymore. And I would rub your feet for you. And you would say it makes a difference. You feel better. If only I could do this forever. Death takes many forms. I said goodbye to you to travel my own road, but I didn't think it was the last goodbye. How was I to know? When I left, I knew you didn't want me to go. And now it's my turn. Why are we always saying goodbye to each other? Are you trying to teach me a lesson? Because if you are, well, I've learned it. Trust me, I have. You can come back now. Death takes many forms, and now it seems you've taken me down with you. You've taken me down into that casket with you, and I'm running my hands along your jacket lapel, and I can feel the coldness of winter all around me, and I can hear them shoveling the dirt over my head, and I want to get out, and I want to take you with me. Death takes many forms. Death can be that hole you left, you know, right over here, just a little to the left. I keep wondering when the pain will go away, when everything will be better. But you once showed me that winters could be beautiful. Instead of the dark and dirty snow lacing the city streets, you showed me a quieting snowfall over a lake at your parents' backyard, glistening in an untouched whiteness. I told you I hated winters, and you told me, this you don't hate. Well, I'm still learning. It is winter now, and death takes many forms. The seasons change for you and I. It is snowing, and something is ending. It is snowing. Somewhere, it is snowing. Okay, 2 more poems. I tell you they're going to totally be different, and I wasn't wrong. This next poem is called Zeal was Unbridled, and it was written on the calendar day Adolf Hitler signed the Nero Decree, March 19th. Wow. Which is a scary thing, like, hey, I'm just going to destroy everything because I can't win. The Nero Decree. This is a poem called Zeal was Unbridled. Get ready for my reading ability here. Zeal was unbridled. Slaving, I risked my life, and in these struggles I had a vision the entire fatherland would ultimately embrace. This was your salvation. You begged for it. Your zeal was unbridled. But as time wore on, you and the masses were too blind to truly fulfill your destiny. You don't understand. I earned the Iron Cross for my unbridled heroism. I fought in the streets for the right kind of government for my people. And I changed my life so I could be your servant. And now you all betray me so. I have always fought, and that has been my decree since the beginning, to never surrender. And as I continue to fight, all I see around me now are cowards. You should want to die instead of turning your tail to run. Deserters. You deserted your destiny. Not me. And this only proof to me is that this was never your destiny after all, and each one of you should therefore perish. And if enemies come to take over my land, we should leave them nothing but a scorched earth. And since my people stopped fighting, let them die too. I want to make this clear. It was not my vision that was faulty. It was your inability to fulfill your goals and ultimately make this empire reign 1,000 years. Your unbridled love for these ideals should have sustained you. So, you have no one to blame but yourself. It is very hard to read a poem from the perspective of Hitler. It's really hard to do, but I guess that's what actors do. That just is really crazy, and I need a palate cleanser at the end after that one for you guys. This is the last poem in the book, and it's the last poem I'm going to share with you from the poetry collection book from 2020 from Scars Publication that is called Inside the Box. Inside the Box. It's a groovy, cool box because you've got a box full of poetry right here in all of these reams. And I hope you like the last poem of the book, and this is your palate cleanser, and I hope you enjoy it. It is titled And I'm Wondering. I'm wondering if there's something chemical that brings people together, something that brings people to their knees, something that sucks them in. And I'm wondering if you're sensing what I'm sensing. Is it just me? Am I making this all up in my head? Or when I glance up and I catch your eyes, well, are you actually staring at me? And I'm wondering if it could work out this time, if we'd have one of those relationships that no one ever doubts, especially us, because we know we'll always be in love. And I'm wondering if you'd find my neurotic pet peeves charming. Like how I hate it when somebody touches my belly because I'm so self-conscious. And I'm wondering why you had to tell me when we happened to be sitting next to each other that the fact that our legs were almost touching was making your heart race. And I'm wondering why I felt the need to take your cigarette and inhale, exhale, while the filter was still warm from your lips. There just seconds before. And I'm wondering if a year or two from now, after we've been going out and should have gotten to that point where we're bored with each other and sunk into that comfortable rut, if you saw me making macaroni and cheese in the kitchen but using margarine and water because I'm out of milk and I've got my hair pulled back and strands are falling into my eyes and I'm wearing an oversized button-down denim shirt and nothing else, well, what I'm wondering is if you would see me like this and still think I was sexy. When I glance up and I catch your eyes from across the room, and when I see your eyes dart away, and when I feel this chemical reaction, well, what I'm wondering is, do you feel it too? Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you enjoyed your palate cleanser. The last poem in the book. This is a 2020 poetry anthology from Scars Publications. Lots and lots of poetry anthologies here, all contained in a little box in these times when we have everything packaged and sent to us, thanks to Amazon or whatever, so that we can be alone and separated and isolated for everyone. That's why this poem is called Inside the Box, because I've got a present for you. Yours truly. Box. I hope you enjoy this poetry reading. If you'd like to know anything about this book, you can always go to Scars Publications, scars.tv, and learn about the book Inside the Box. I would like to thank each and every one of you for not only being a part of the Scars Publications community, the CC&D community, the Down in the Dirt community, for being literally inclined, poetically inclined, for being alive. I want to thank each and every one of you. I hope that everyone is staying strong right now. I hope everyone is staying healthy. I hope everyone is staying safe. And if anyone is ever feeling like things are too tough right now, I want you to remember that you are loved. You really are. You're not alone. We're all in this together, even though we're all apart. And things will get better. It will. Trust me. It'll be okay. And stay safe and stay good, and I will talk to you guys all very, very soon. I want to thank each and every one of you. Thank you so very much. Thank you.